Hello and welcome back to the Project Hercules Diaries. We have success. So the hole in the top of the gearbox has been drilled and tapped to take the detent. There's the detent and that pops in there. And also the gear selector, which at the moment freely moves sort of analog through any particular position, all the way from one gear through neutral to the other gear, but without really stopping anywhere. We drilled the shaft. I'm not sure you're going to be able to see this. Can I see? There you go. Inside there you can see the top of the shaft, and when I move this you can see the holes lining up there for the detent to go into. So the way this works is if I get this in, and I'll try and do all this with one hand, which isn't easy because it's a spring loaded thing that's easier to start with two hands, but in the interest of explaining to the nation how everything works and demonstrating it, let's have a go. Prefer to do this with two hands because I don't want to crash the threads. Now there we go. I think it's got used to going in all by itself now. So that detent is in, and now when you select a gear or neutral, it absolutely positively fits into the gear. So one gear, click, neutral, click, other gear, click, neutral, click, click. Oh, listen to that. It's not going to come out of neutral. There's quite a bit of force I'm putting on that, so it's not going to vibrate itself out of neutral. I can select low gear, I can select neutral, I can select high gear and back to neutral. That works really nicely, and of course we'll have a hand change mechanism which will also have a gate further up on the bike, but that's come out really well. One of the things that we did in doing preparation for that particular job was to do a trial piece. So we set it all up with the trial piece. We did a trial drilling just to make sure that the detent wouldn't lock it in gear or make it difficult to select the gear, and that trial piece is just here on this rod. So there's the trial piece, the trial detent. We just assembled everything with that in there and just made sure that we could select, feel it in going into position. But yeah, I'm really pleased with that, and I think I've been helping, Bob's been doing, but between the two of us we've done quite a good job there, so I'm very chuffed with that. Next couple of jobs would be to shorten these shafts here. So this we'd probably leave this not far off the same length and at some point put a thread on it, but this side of the gear selector shaft needs to be a bit shorter because when it's in that gear it needs to be flush with the end or slightly inside, so that when it's in this gear it doesn't stick into the side of the sprocket, because that would spoil your day if that went into the teeth of the sprocket. So this end needs to be shorter. That end will be a little bit shorter with the thread on so it can fit the clevis. This pin here, which everything slides on, needs to be shortened back to the side. And then of course assembling the box will be a slightly different proposition again, because at the moment we're using this length to slide everything down, so there'll be a bit of adjustment needed there to assemble it. But all in all, I'm very pleased with that. That's a 2-speed box that's finished. The only other job on the outside of the box is behind me. Back to the plans again, the drain pump. We don't have a drain pump, not a pump, sump. The drain, the sump plug. So we don't have a drilled and tapped hole, and we don't have a drain plug for the bottom of the gearbox. So I'm going to have a look around the shed. I'm sure I've got one somewhere from Honda Blackbird with a magnet on. If I can dig that out, and an old washer, we'll repurpose that and we'll cut the thread for the same size. If not, we'll either buy one or make one. So that's where we're at the moment. Very pleased with that. Final update will probably be tomorrow night, because there's a couple of shafts that need shortening, and then I can show you everything working with the sprockets on the box. That's it for the weekend. Hope you've all had a good weekend. As usual, thank you for watching. More updates will follow.